Y&R Spoilers reveal Billy Abbott and Diane Jenkins Abbott's confrontation over the renovation of the Abbott mansion has become more than just a fight over interior design style. It's also an explosion of pent-up emotions, hidden secrets, and a threat to family relationships. The storm has not only left Diane in tears, but has also pushed the Abbott family to the brink of division, as each member of the family is drawn into an inevitable major conflict. Since Diane began the Abbott Mansion renovation project, she has placed all her hopes on transforming the family's signature home into a fresh, modern space without losing its traditional values. She has planned carefully, every detail, every space in the house is designed to blend the past and present. But when Billy walks in and starts to criticize ruthlessly, everything seems to fall apart. Billy calling the new space a funeral home makes Diane unable to keep her cool. She tried her best to create a space that honored the Abbott family, but in Billy's eyes, all of her efforts turned into a complete failure. This criticism not only hurt Diane, but also raised deep doubts in her about her place in the Abbott family. She had entered this family with the hope of restoring the honor and relationship that had been broken in the past. But Billy's words were like a slap in the face to everything she had worked to build. She began to feel alienated from her family members, especially from Billy, who she had hoped would support her in this important project. But the tension did not stop with the confrontation between Diane and Billy. As Billy continued to reveal shocking secrets about Diane's past, the truth about the plots that Diane had set up to trap him and the Abbott family began to emerge. Billy reveals that Diane may not simply be Kyle's mother, but may be hiding dark secrets. This puts more strain on Diane's relationship with the Abbott family than ever. When Jack Abbott, Diane's husband and the head of the Abbott family, learns this information, he is left in a state of confusion. Billy's criticism of Diane combined with the secrets he reveals puts Jack in a difficult position. Can he continue to protect his wife when the horrifying secrets about her past are gradually revealed? Will Jack's love and loyalty to Diane be strong enough to overcome these terrifying truths? Or will Billy, with his strong criticism and the revelation of dark plots, become the ultimate winner in this battle? The relationship between Billy and Jack has become so strained that it is beyond repair. Billy, who has always valued the Abbott family and its traditions, cannot forgive Diane for what she has done. He cannot stand by and watch an outsider, even Jack's wife, destroy the values that the Abbott family has worked so hard to build over the years. And Jack, who has always sought to keep the family together, is in the middle of a conflict that he does not know how to resolve. Billy's criticisms have ignited a fire in the Abbott family, a fire that could burn everything down if not intervened in time. Diane is now faced with not only protecting her home renovation business but also protecting her marriage to Jack, a man who once loved and respected her, but is now threatened by the secrets of her past. Can Diane keep her cool and work things out, or will she fall into her own trap as the horrifying truths begin to unfold? Not only is it a story about renovating a mansion, it is also a family war, where secrets, betrayals, and uncompromising confrontations will decide the fate of each person in the Abbott family. This tension not only affects family relationships but can also completely change the way each person perceives Diane, and can make her a character condemned and shunned by society. Billy not only criticizes Diane for the renovation project, but also because he feels betrayed. He cannot ignore what Diane has done, and this makes the war between him and the Abbott family inevitable. However, the important thing is whether Billy can really win this war, when all sides have their own secrets and pain. The conflict between Billy Abbott and Diane Jenkins Abbott was not just a simple argument over the design and renovation of the Abbott mansion, but a tense confrontation between two generations, a battle over power, loyalty, and position in the Abbott family. When Diane tearfully confided in Jack about Billy's harsh criticism, things got out of hand, and an inevitable confrontation between the two Abbott brothers was formed. Jack, who had always had an instinct to protect his family, especially his wife, did not hesitate to confront Billy at Jabot headquarters with a sharp ultimatum, leaving no room for negotiation. This situation, which seemed like just an argument over interior design, actually reflected a much larger battle within the Abbott family. Billy, a strong-willed person who always stood up for the values he believed in, could not bear the change that Diane had brought. For Billy, Diane's interference with the family's traditional values, even destroying the beautiful memories of this house, was unacceptable. He not only saw the renovation of the mansion as an insult to the family legacy, but also a threat to his position in the Abbott family. When Diane faced severe criticism from Billy, she not only felt insulted but also deeply hurt that her efforts were being disregarded. Even though Diane had put all her heart into renovating the house, she still could not get the consensus of Billy, who could not see things her way. At that time, Diane could not control her emotions, and the tears that fell down spoke of the disappointment and hurt she felt. However, Jack, with the protective instinct of a husband and father, could not stand by and watch his wife being insulted without doing anything. He decided to confront Billy directly. The confrontation at Jabot headquarters was not simply a debate about interior decoration, but a real power struggle within the Abbott family. Jack, who had always been loyal to his family and its values, had put his wife first in this case. For Jack, protecting Diane's feelings and respect had become more important than any family relationship, and he did not hesitate to demonstrate this strong commitment to Billy. However, for Billy, this was a different matter. He could not accept Jack siding with Diane, and Billy's resistance to Diane's position in the Abbott family only made the situation more tense. Jack's tone when confronting Billy at Jabot reflected his determination to protect Diane, even though it might cause a rift in the family relationship. Unlike previous times, when Jack often tried to solve all family problems by pleasing all parties, this time he chose to side with Diane and gave Billy an ultimatum: if Billy could not accept Diane, then he would have to accept the consequences. This was the first time in a long time that Jack had shown such determination, and this made Billy think again. Billy, with his stubborn nature and never easily backing down, could not accept Jack's criticism. Billy's indignation came not only from his inability to understand why Jack chose to protect Diane, but also from his anger at feeling that his position in the Abbott family was being threatened. For Billy, Jack's siding with Diane was a betrayal, an act that he could not ignore. Not only did he confront Diane, but he also felt abandoned by Jack, and this made him even more determined to fight her. This confrontation is no longer just about the mansion renovation, but has become a symbol of the tension within the Abbott family. This tension exposes the deep conflicts between the Abbott brothers about loyalty, power, and respect within the family. Jack has come to the important decision that protecting Diane's emotional and mental health is more important than anything else, and he does not hesitate to stand by his wife, even if it means losing Billy's approval. But for Billy, this resistance is an unsolvable problem. He cannot bear for Jack to ignore the traditional values he has built in the Abbott family. This standoff has not only increased tensions among the Abbotts, but also raised big questions about the family's relationship. Is Billy willing to follow Jack's criticism, or will he continue to resist and fight for the values he believes in? Will Jack's end to Diane help the family bond, or will it lead to a rift that cannot be explored? With these steadfastnesses, the question of each person's place in the Abbott family is no longer simple. The conflicts not only reflect differences in views on the mansion's renovation, but also signal a deeper family war, where values, loyalties, and power will determine the fate of the Abbotts. And this, in turn, could lead to major changes in the future, not only in terms of wealth but also in the family relationships they have all worked so hard to build. The question everyone in the Abbott family is asking is whether Billy Abbott has the patience and courage to swallow his pride and apologize to Diane Jenkins Abbott, or will he continue to stand his ground and tear the family apart? This is not just a question of behavior, but a decision that will determine the future of the Abbott family, a family that has endured countless trials over the years. With each choice Billy makes, profound consequences will follow him and affect the entire family. A reluctant apology may only increase resentment and discord, while rejecting Jack's offer of reconciliation could see Billy removed from power and influence in the family. This crisis has become a test for Diane, a major test of her resilience, tenacity, and determination to secure her place in the Abbott family. Diane's efforts to renovate the Abbott mansion are not simply a change of interior design or decoration, but a declaration of her official integration into a family that has long viewed her with suspicion. The renovation of the mansion becomes a symbol of Diane's attempt to build a solid future for herself in a family that she has long been an outsider to. It is not just a change of physical space, but a fight for the position, respect, and affection of the Abbott family members. However, Diane will not easily achieve her goals. She knows that one of the biggest challenges she will face is the opposition from Billy, who not only strongly criticizes the renovation project but has never fully accepted her into the family. Billy not only values his family, but he also believes that traditional values must be protected, and that excessive changes to the Abbott family home are a serious insult. Billy's refusal to back down adds to the tension in the family. Meanwhile, Diane's husband, Jack, stands firm by his wife. Jack's decision will have a huge impact on the Abbott family's life, and it's not just about protecting his wife, but also a test of loyalty and steadfastness. Billy is faced with a difficult decision. He knows that an apology to Diane is necessary to reconcile the family, but doing so will hurt his self-esteem and self-worth. He also knows that not apologizing could lead to a deep rift in the Abbott family, leaving him out of the decision-making process. Billy and Jack's relationship, already strained, becomes even more complicated. Jack sides with Diane and gives Billy an ultimatum: if he cannot accept change and make peace with Diane, he will no longer have a place in the Abbott family. This is a huge decision, because no one in the Abbott family can forget the years of fighting for power and recognition in this family. The tension between Billy and Jack reflects not only differences in perspective but also the struggle for each person's place in the Abbott family. This fight begins with small changes in the renovation of the Abbott mansion, but it escalates into a larger battle, a battle for the soul and respect of the Abbott family. The arguments over decoration, color schemes and furniture arrangements are not just superficial issues, but actually reflect deeper debates about values, loyalty, and change. Will the Abbott family choose to protect tradition and maintain their power, or will they open themselves to change, accept reforms to continue to survive in the modern world? As Billy weighs his options and Jack stands firm in his demands, the freshly painted walls of the Abbott mansion become a symbol of unprecedented tensions. This renovation is not just about repainting walls or changing living spaces, but also about a struggle for power, respect, and love within the Abbott household. The price of this change could be a permanent division within the family. Each will have to choose between protecting their family and adapting to the new demands of the world. With each choice Billy and Jack make, this confrontation will forever alter the dynamics of the Abbott family. Will decades of brotherly love triumph over Jack's devotion and resilience to his wife? Or will a dispute over decoration permanently redesign the structure of the Abbott household? The decisions the Abbott family members make are not just about renovating a house, but about change, loyalty, and the future survival of this family. Whatever the outcome, one thing is certain: the Abbott family will never be the same. The walls of the Abbott mansion may be repainted, but the family rifts will not be easily mended. These decisions will change how they see each other and rebuild their relationships. Whether Billy accepts the apology or not, the battle for the soul of the Abbott family will surely continue. The controversy surrounding the Abbott house renovation has become a symbol of the deep rifts within the Abbott family, reflecting not only the conflict over design but also over family values, change, and preservation. Although it was a project to renovate an iconic home, it has inadvertently opened up a major generational battle, with conflicts over tradition and modernity, loyalty and change, and the individual ambitions of each Abbott family member. Kyle Abbott, Jack's son and a man who has always valued growth and change, has become one of the strongest advocates for the renovation. Kyle not only sees this as an opportunity to take the Abbott family home to the next level, but also sees it as a major step in modernizing the family. He has been unabashed in his support of his mother, Diane Jenkins Abbott, who is leading the renovation project. Kyle even suggested that the renovation would be more than just a new space, but also an opportunity for the family to embrace new things, such as welcoming Claire Grace, a character Kyle cherishes, into the space. Kyle's enthusiasm and commitment to the project was not only a simple support for his mother, but also an affirmation of his vision for the future of the Abbott family. Kyle believed that embracing change and innovation was not only necessary, but also the way for the family to continue to grow and adapt to the modern world. However, this view was in stark contrast to the stance of Billy Abbott, Kyle's older brother and a traditionalist. Billy, who respected and protected the values that the Abbott family had built for generations, could not accept the renovation of the mansion in the way that Diane and Kyle proposed. For Billy, the house is not just a residence but a symbol of the past, a place that holds the memories and legacy of the Abbott family. Renovating this space, especially changing the symbolic elements, is like an act of erasing the core values that he and his family have cherished for many years. Billy believes that the excessive renovation is not just an aesthetic change but also a betrayal of the family's past. He cannot understand why his family members are willing to change this house without thinking about what it represents. This has made Billy more tense and assertive than ever in opposing Diane's project, creating a clear divide between generations in the Abbott family. The conflict between Billy and Kyle over the renovation of the mansion is not only a reflection of personal disagreements but also a symbol of a larger societal debate, preserving heritage or embracing change. Billy's advocacy of traditional values while Kyle's advocacy of modernization creates a clear divide within the Abbott family, highlighting the differences between those who want to preserve the past and those who want to move toward the future. The return of Tracy Abbott, Jack's sister and an important member of the family, further complicates the situation. Tracy has always had a deep emotional attachment to the Abbott mansion, especially to the traditional values that the house represents. Tracy's emotional connection to the house can shift the family consensus in two opposing directions. One is in support of Kyle and Diane, and the other is in defense of the old values that Billy and Tracy represent. Tracy will have to decide whose side she is on in this conflict, and her decision will have a major impact on the unity of the Abbott family. Jack Abbott's ultimatum is not just a request for polite behavior, but also a test of family loyalty. Jack, as the head of the family, has asked Billy to choose between family harmony and his personal integrity. This is not just a confrontation between Billy and Jack, but also a confrontation between his loyalty as a husband and brother and the principles and values he believes in. This tension not only affects Jack and Billy's relationship, but also creates deep rifts within the Abbott family. Billy, who has always felt out of place in his family, now faces a difficult decision. Will he choose family or the protection of the values he has long held dear? This decision could forever redefine the Abbott family's alliances, creating factions that could last for years. This confrontation is not just about a house or a renovation project, but about protecting family honor, power, and loyalty. The rift between generations in the Abbott family has forced everyone to face difficult decisions that could forever change the family structure. With each choice, each member of the Abbott family must weigh the balance between preserving legacy and embracing change, between protecting the past and opening the door to the future.